Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Hanson. We'll be checking out time travel places, mysterious things that has happened. My brother Roger will read to you.
This is the Chrono Files 10 time traveler time traveler warnings that left the internet unsettled. Pop culture is obsessed with time travel, while physics treats retro causality as highly improbable. The internet is filled with eerie accounts of individuals who allegedly arrived from the future. Many of these accounts are dismissed as urban legends, hoaxes, or optical illusions. However, certain time travelers left behind specific warnings, predictions, or anomalies that believers claim eventually came true.
I've heard of one, the one Mona Lisa.
Now you're referring to Da Vinci.
Well, he was supposed to went into a cave, slept, or gone for 2 years within the cave or wherever, but then came back and he had wide varieties of inventions, ideals, and all that. That only way I'm guessing that he could know anything about it is some way or another he went into the future. He came up with a whole different the mirror concept, but he wrote and he drew pictures of what he recognized and seen and how they would work. And a lot of the art, the pictures of that he drew today, they look identical to that. It's possible. Who's to say? There's wide varieties of pictures that has caught things off time, the things that shouldn't have been in a certain time frame. Like, well, I'm thinking of this one place. Scientists went there, but they do not know how it was created or built. They are saying that like someone came from the future to this place. It creates energy, high voltage energy underground. But I'm thinking that someone from the future went there because it's just way too high tech and it just seems awful odd. They always say too that time travel, you have to be a certain age group. A certain age group would be more likely to go into time through the time barrier, where it wouldn't mess with their mind. And if they're the only ones that can survive the process, it doesn't do certain things to the human mind as they would as an adult. A person would be taken from one specific time to another time and then back at the same time, like a loop. Whatever you've done through the time, wouldn't that change the process of what you had done whenever it took you until when you came back? You go back to the same age as you were when you went in. Fabrics at different time period is different, and skeletons of old people, they had certain diseases the same as what we got today in the skeleton, in the DNA, in bone marrow. You always hear that people came from England to the U.S. and the U.S. was like a virgin area, didn't have no diseases. Well, they might have, but what we had when we came over from England, to hear how much of the Indian population we wiped out just by a single virus that we had. You would think that if you go to hop into the future for what you have had, would that go with you take a chance of infecting the future with whatever you have or make it worse? You're combining whatever is in that time with what you got to make it into a mutation of a new thing. During World War II, a fighter was flying went into an area, and at the same time, he seen a 1985 airplane flying by at the same time as he was flying, and vice versa. The pilot from 1985 saw a World War II airplane flying by at the same time, passing each other. What is the possibility of that could actually happen? Well, when people disappears, who knows what happened then? With airplanes and even boats, the Bermuda Triangle, people going into the future, like in Egypt, they got this one spot, the door. People would go from one spot to the other or from one time to another. It makes you curious. What is like the energy from it? And they say too that if you go into time, you cannot do one certain thing ever, because you do, drastic things will happen. You cannot meet your soul in the future. You would probably destroy yourself. You would not exist from the time you were born. If a person is from the future, you look and stop and think what's different between what you got and what they got. The texture of the clothes, how they hold themselves. If they look too healthy, if they're from the future, they probably already came through the thing of different varieties of sickness that you haven't came across yet. Newer laws could be made up during that time, and technology as well. I wonder what all different things that they have found, as they showed on in Egypt. The writing, they have seen like ships, like flying saucers and an aircraft, some kind of aircraft. If they went back into time, and they're talking about the bell. They found a bell. There's supposed to be two bells, and one was made by the Nazis. I can't think of the Nazi's name, but he was in control of a lot of stuff there. He came up missing during that time when everybody was being picked up and took. They had a chance to go to the U.S. to be part of Paperclip, but he disappeared. They're thinking that he went through time. I always thought that like cameras, they get better after so many years. I'm just guessing that the picture frame of pigments of the picture can tell you too during that time what year, how small or the size of that camera was at that time, what size of the pigment of the picture is. Like if it was made in 1860 with like a flash, or if the picture was ever made at any point in time in the future. I forget that blood type, but it's a real rare blood type it is. We're not saying that that came from it could be from a future into the past. A person that's hiding out, how things progress in timeline and all that. The ability of someone from another time, without being too, what you call, as long as they don't change a whole lot, affecting just what you call it, just by being there. Do they change it or not? And does it change anything, of the person, or how will it change things? In what way could they alter things? Like if a person is a lawyer, a judge, law enforcement, something that he's thinking about doing, and someone pops up and says, "I wouldn't do that," and by saying something, one word, would that affect something drastically? What weird things would you see, like in pictures? How would you recognize someone from time travel? Someone from the future or the past. The weird things that you would seem odd to you. If you had five people standing in front of you, and one person is a very unique person just by the way their appearance, their build, and their like their clothing and their age. If someone took you from right now and they hold you for like 10 to 20 years, into the future, however old you are, in the condition that you are, can you say that you'd be the same age as when they put you back at the same time as they took you? One would cancel out the other. What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
always say
I
that
think I see what you're saying. If you were to time travel, you would have to be wrapped in a shell somehow that will protect you from aging as you travel through time.
if you do enough of time travel, in what way will it affect you? Radiation or however, how would
Yeah,
it affect the human body and the mind in the process?
yeah, yeah.
And like,
Imagine what would that be like traveling through time,
it's like
right? Well,
something
I
like
mean, what kind of speed would you be traveling at in order to go faster
well,
than time?
oh, that is a good question. I guess it's as fast as speed of light, the way I understand it. And I brought this up about, okay, you as a person, okay, if you time travel with all the things that you got sick from, okay, the
Hmm.
person, when you go into a future, if someone from the future talking to you, everything that that person has already got sick from mixes with what you got sick from could turn into a mutation.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you recall, like in the U.S. when the Indians and
Yeah,
we came over
I
from
pulled up what you were talking about when it comes to two objects occupying the same thing. That actually is it's a classic physics. It's microscopic objects cannot occupy the same space because of electromagnetic repulsion. That's also in quantum at the quantum level. It's that's where that came from. You hear a lot of people say that, but that's not necessarily fact. You know what I mean? Like there's no there's no proof saying that if two people came into contact with one another, it will cause something.
oh no no to you as going into
You
the
That's
mean
what I'm
this
saying.
oh okay
the same people,
Right.
yeah
Like that's
same
not
people at
actually
two
a
different times?
fact, is what I'm.
Uh, uh, okay, that only happens if you travel to the past.
no or to the future either
If you
if
travel to the
someone from the
future, there won't
future
be a you in the future because you
well no
divert from the timeline.
what I'm referring to is if a person if you from let's say we can't get to the future but the future can come to you into the past.
Okay, so somebody from the future traveling back to meet
Yeah,
you,
you
like you in the future traveling back to meet you.
yeah
Yeah,
and
just
if they
like you
come to
traveling
you
back in time. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah
same
this
problem.
is it's the same thing. It's basically it's the Fermi's effect is what it is. Is it
Hmm.
they talk about that, and it is from the past, Robert. It's
oh okay yeah
now
but we're the
because
past
technically they're saying that it's almost impossible to travel to the future because it hasn't been created yet. Like that's actually more fiction or science fiction than it is science, to be honest. Like they're actually and a lot of the stuff. I apologize about the topics too. I didn't realize that you were just wanting to talk about time travel because I went in and I started pulling up the articles that you posted, and I thought you were wanting to do the top 10 time traveling thing. So
well yeah yeah well, I want to get a little to where it's got a
it's
little wide
fine.
variety
I'm just saying I apologize about that.
yeah
Now
and
also another thing I wanted to point out too, the thing that you were talking about where a person goes to the